Hello, Jacqueline here. And I wanted to come on today because I have been exploring and really asking this question a lot. Like, how do I know that I am creating a life that is successful for me? And even deeper than that, like, how do I know I'm creating a life that's meaningful for me? And where I feel like the investments that I'm making of my time, my love, my energy, my money, like really feel worth it and valuable. And what it's bringing up for me is this question that has continued to blow my mind when I really explore it. And it's this question of when I want something, right? When I want to try something, when I want to buy something, when I want to do something, like, is this going to cost me what I've learned to assume it would cost me, or what I'm afraid it will cost me, or what I think it might cost me, right? Like this question of cost. And is the cost really what I think it is? And I had this really fun, simple example from my life a few years ago come up as I was on my walk today. So I thought I would share it. So a few years ago, I was creating videos and I really wanted to play with doing them scripted. I wanted to play with creating videos where I wrote out the script and then I recorded it kind of like verbatim from what I wrote, like really playing with that. And as I was doing it, I really had this thought come up like, man, I would love to have a teleprompter to do this. Like, this would be amazing to do with the teleprompter. But my kind of impulsive reaction was that it was going to cost a lot to have a teleprompter. Like, and my mind was like, that's going to be expensive. You're going to need other equipment, right? Like, what is all the stuff you're going to need? And so I kept trying to do it in these funny, silly ways where I would, or maybe not funny, silly, like actually kind of hardworking ways, but I would like try to memorize some of the script and then would record a short portion of it. And it's really time consuming, right? And I was passionate about it. So I kept trying to play with it and do it in new ways and even like put the script up like on paper, like put paper up so I could see the paper. And but all the while I was like, man, this would be so amazing to have a teleprompter. And what was fascinating was as I was doing this a bit on my personal side projects, I also was doing this for the company I was working for. We were creating scripts and they were going to send us out to the corporate, or they did send us out to the corporate office. And they had a teleprompter there and they had this whole setup in this whole room. And we recorded. And it was so much faster and easier. And I really got to experience that. I was like, whoa, this is so much easier. And so when I was, when I had finished with the work for the company and we had done what we were going to do, I was back at the hotel and I was waiting to go to the airport. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna take a look, right? Like I had known about Google before this time, right? Like I knew about being able to search, but for some reason, this was just not it, until that moment. This just didn't really hit me that it was a Google worthy thing. So I Googled and I was like, are there free teleprompter services? And, like for if you're a tech savvy person, you might be laughing as you're sharing this. And I certainly started like laughing and like having a moment of like, oh my gosh, when I realized that yes, like there are free teleprompter services, there are free teleprompter trials, and I don't need another external machine. Like I could use my phone. And I was like, oh my gosh. It was a mind blowing moment to realize I didn't need any other technology and I could do this for free. Like this actually wasn't going to cost me like anything what I thought it was going to when I was initially creating this and trying to figure out and exploring it. And I love reflecting on this story because it was something really kind of simple and really tangible, right? Like it was a service or a thing that I thought I might need to buy as a technology. But this question is so normal and human to come up, especially when we have fears and life experiences, right? This question of, I want to do something, right? And I know that like, even though we don't think about this often, like we don't think about it in this way, we do factor in what the investment of something is going to be, right? Like how much it's going to cost you, right? Financially, time wise, your energy, your life force, right? Like everything we do, there is an investment to it, right? There's a cost to it. But so often, from life experience, from environments we're in, from all of the things, we start to assume costs. And right, like I really quickly assumed that because I didn't, have thousands of dollars I felt I was willing to spend, or have a big company, or know all of the tech things, my fast impulsive assumption was this is going to cost me a lot of money. But by actually being curious, I got to realize, oh man, that cost was a lot lower than I thought it was going to be. And actually, it was going to be giving me back time and energy because it was going to be so much quicker and easier to use. And this is what I found happens so, so often. And what can happen so, so often. And once we transition from like children to adults, when we like actually start to get curious under the surface of like, okay, what if I was really curious about the cost here, right? And didn't get lost in assuming a certain amount of cost, financially, emotion wise, like and energy wise, all of the things. So I wanted to share this because this has really, really impacted my life, and not just in that one moment with the teleprompter. This has been a huge question for me of really starting to get more clear around, what am I telling myself this is going to cost me? And is this cost truly, really what I thought? Like, if I really got curious with it, what is the actual cost going to be? And this question can go really, really deep and be really, really amazing. But this simple, like monetary example, I think is a really fun entry point to just being curious with this. So I would love to know if this resonates with you, and if this question comes up for you of like, what is this going to cost me? Right. And this can be when you think about investing time in a relationship, when you think about investing time in a project or in a technology or in a service, like, well, does this question come up for you? I imagine it does, but I'd be really curious to know in the comments, is this a regular question that you're even aware of, right? Like, what is this going to cost me? And then I would love to know what you typically do when that question comes up, right? Are you like, ooh, um, let me really explore this? Or are you like, or is that often a fear point where you're like, yeah, this is probably going to cost me. I'm not going to do it. Um, yeah, I'd love to know. And I'd love to know too if this is a topic that is like a hot topic for you. Like, does this feel like it's something that, man, if you knew how to work with this better, if when these fears come up or when these thoughts come up, you could see things working so much better. I would love to know. So feel free to leave a message in the comments below. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you're still with me, wishing you such a beautiful day, and I look forward to sharing more next time. Mwah.